Hello friends, those back pages here. I hope you're well. Buckle up, grab yourself a Snickers. This video is probably going to be a lengthy one. This is my 2024 national recap video. Talk about a few things, show some cards. A couple I haven't shown before, but here we go. Well, then the 2024 Nationals come and gone, and I sit here on the Monday recording this, and of course I feel sad because it seems like just yesterday it was Tuesday, and I had arrived in Cleveland and waited for the arrival of my friends, and we spent the week talking cards, life, having fun conversations, meals together, having a good time, hanging out, forgetting about real life. So we'll just start at the beginning. Earlier this year, I was thinking about, I got this mantle at the show last year, so obviously, what am I going to do this year? Anything I do this year would be somewhat of a, not disappointment, but, not quite the level of that mantle, and that's fine. I have no problem with that, but I tried my best. So I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, like I had mentioned earlier this year. A lot of the stuff I have is great, but maybe it's time to take that stuff and turn it into other stuff that I might want more. Kind of like I did with the mantle last year. So I did some thinking, and thanks to watching some YouTube content, mainly JT's, which is absolutely phenomenal now. He's on the next level. I'm so proud of him for that. And he's been doing these vlogs, his live show, show vlogs, and talk. I see these people talking about ultra modern football, ultra modern basketball, and especially the football stuff. It's Greek to me at this point. It's just names I don't know, and just so many different names, so many different products. Everything has to be autographed with a great looking patch, or numbered to 2, or something like that. And you know how I always tell you guys, sell 10s and buy 9s. So I decided, it was earlier in the summer, I decided it was time to move on from some things. So in the meantime, JT had asked me what my target, goals for the show this year, meaning the one that just ended. And I said to him, you know what, I'd love to find a Jackie to match the mantle that I got last year. Great looking one, high eye appeal, decent price point. The last part never applies to a mantle, but you know what I mean. So I would say it was mid-April, maybe end of April, beginning of May. That's when JT asked me, and I said, you know what, that's when I said I'd like to find a Jackie that matches the mantle, knowing that it would be very, very difficult bill to fit, very, very, very difficult. So, and I remember the day even. It was a Monday, it was June 3rd. JT texted me and said, I think I found something you might like. And it's always a good day when you get that text message from JT. He said, I found a Jackie, and it turned out to be a Jackie Robinson 52 tops. So he showed me a picture of it. I loved the picture. I thought it looked great. And just happened to be that day I had taken some pictures. It was the week that the NBA Finals was starting. So I had taken some photographs of some Tatums and some Lukas because they were going to go head to head. I figured one way or the other, one of them wins, one of them doesn't. It's going to be good for the hobby. So it'd be cool to have some pictures to share on social media. And that was before he said, hey, I found something you might like. So the timing of that worked. So he sent me the picture of the Jackie. And I said, well, and he told me the price. And I said, it's not really in the hobby budget right now, but, I'm probably going to look to move some stuff at the show. So, if it could possibly work something out, then no problem. So he said, well, what do you got? What do you have? What are you thinking about moving? So I had told him about, the Tatum and Luka pictures I had taken earlier that day. And he says, oh, that's pretty liquid stuff, And I had talked about more of this in my Day Zero recap, but so he said, send them to me. I'm going to paraphrase here. So if you really want the full story, it's on Day Zero recap. But so this was the Jackie right here, and I really hope that it's showing up well on camera. You see it's major malfunction. It has 3 pieces of scotch tape here, and here. It looks like somebody tried to remove the tape and took a piece of the bat off there. But to me, just look at that red. I mean, that cherry red is just so good. And there's no facial marks on him. I look for centering and then no facial marks or snow or creases or whatever. Registration is also very important. I mean, obviously this is not perfect centering, but if you take a look at what's out there as far as ones go, it's going to be tough to top this one as far as centering, and the entire facial area there is just great. I mean, I'm just so happy to have this in the collection. So so there's that Jackie. This was on Tuesday, Day Zero, and he had gotten some other cars he found in put them in my stack, and it was this 2001 Topps Griffey Gold and an SGC 8. First year they made individually numbered golds, and these are not as easy. Something that's numbered to 2001, but it has been 23 years. So something that's machine numbered to 2001, but they don't make them like that. I mean, the quality, the build quality is almost, you can see the little etching in the borders of the gold. Just a great job. And then one final card that from this transaction we had was this that I actually went ahead and got graded myself at the show, but he brought it for me. I had pre-filled out the submission form with CGC, and it's this 2006 Topps Black Barry Bonds, which is numbered to 55 on the back. Machine numbered there. This is extremely difficult to find. Let's just put it that way. I mean, and it came back a fine 9, as JT predicted. I thought it might have been an 8. I'm glad I was wrong. So we had a tentative deal going into the show, and I had a cash balance that I was intending to pay him at the show, and since this happened in the middle of June, I figured that it got me thinking in my head again about what else I could move. And the way the market is going and sell 10s, buy 9s, I decided it was time to, like I had mentioned, move on from some things, from 10s and non-10s as well. For basic, I guess the gist of it is I've exited the chromium football and basketball game. I had brought a bunch of slabs because since I was driving, I brought a bunch of slabs with me to not only try to finalize a deal with JT, but also sell at the show and then use those funds for other cards that I would like to own. One of them being the 52 Mantle, which I was unable to purchase at the show. It wasn't from lack of trying. JT was looking, had other friends looking as well, and to find a centered copy that looks like Jackie and the Mick is not easy to accomplish in one or PSA 1, even SGC 1 or 2 form. But again, it was, he had just died, so you're gonna have the death tax. So there's always goals for the future. I was not able to obtain that. So I guess I'll go over that last. Yeah, why not? That was pretty much the highlight of day 0, and quite frankly, I could have just left that night and been totally satisfied with the show, except for seeing my friends. But day 2 came, well, technically day on Wednesday, and seeing friends, talking. We got in, yeah, a little early. We had media badges and walking around, having a good time, saying handshakes, friends, hugs, smiles, the good stuff. And so I was going over to see when I could drop my CGC submission off. I've posted the video on its own, the results video. So as I'm going to see if they're accepting submissions, I hear, Eric, come here, Eric. And I turn around, it's my friend Jeter John, as we like to call him. He and I have spoken about him on the channel before. He's also a big Bobby Witt collector, so we have that in common. And so, what are you buying? What are you looking for? What's going on? How are you? We have that conversation that we always have many times with my friends when the show first starts up. And I asked him if he had any, because I know I heard talking about before, basically the cliff notes is his sons aren't interested, so he's been selling off his Jeters. He had one time, he had the #1 PSA registry Jeter set. So I said, do you have any, Topps Black Jeters? And he says, yeah, I have a couple. He had an 03, which is the first year. And that's a little more than I was wanting to spend. And he said he had a 15 and an 8, because his 03 was in a 9. So he said I had a 15 and an 8. I said, oh, let me see that. And here it is. This is just, it's out of 61 out of 64. And it's in a PSA 8. And this is just, these are just so difficult to find, period. I mean, my feelings on Topps Black. I've talked about it many times. And even this show itself has reiterated my desire to go ahead and try to even double down on collecting them, whether raw or graded or raw otherwise. I mean, I will gladly submit them myself next year at the show. So I was able to talk to John, was able to pick that up and add that to the collection. It's his final Topps flagship card, or flagship black. I have to try to come up with terminology, because you just say, hey, you have any Topps blacks? They think Topps chrome, they think all these, Topps chrome black, they think all these other things. I'm talking about, I should just start saying flagship black, just to keep it simple. But because I was hunting for them for, Pujols, Citro, Bonds, and I was not able to find any to purchase there. I did submit some others, besides this Bonds. That's, you can see in the reveal video. So that was my one purchase. Was so day 0 was the Jackie purchase edition. Day 1 was the Jeter. So Thursday came around, day 2, and I was like, I had been thinking about one of the things on my list, my unwritten list that I had, is I wanted an old-timey baseball card. Now, what does that mean, Eric? That sounds strange. What does that mean? pre-World War One, tobacco era, T206 era type of card where, had a player on it, a common would be fine. That, it's like a time of the day, like twilight, it's getting dark type of thing. So you have the vibrant colors in the background. So, having done this for a long time, I am fortunate enough to know a lot of people and say hello to a lot of people. And there's a particular dealer who's actually not far from me. And when I used to frequent the Hofstra shows, White Plains, he was there. His real name is actually John Goodman. He likes to say he's older, but I had told him what I was looking for. He pointed out a few. He pointed out a couple of pictures, and I said, I really they looked really nice, but I tried to find a hitter. So then he showed me this, and this is a 1911. This is the Hassan, 1911, yeah. Hassan cigarettes. And this is just something else. I mean, look at the sky. It's going, like the sun is setting behind the clouds and it's making the clouds glow. And, this card is 113 years old now. And it just looks great. I mean, my last name starts with an N, so that really helps. That adds to it. It's like a bonus. And basic back. I mean, he never made the major leagues. I believe technically this is a T205 minor leagues portion of it, but someone can check me on that. I'm sure that's fine. And just holding the bat, just. I don't know if it'll show up there, but there's you can see that almost like the stadium in the background. It's just come on, there we go. This is a great looking old-timey baseball card, and so I said, hey, can I see it? And this is something else that's been lost in the hobby, especially since the pandemic, that I had talked to Don. Don was with me, the show with me, Don, and we spent a lot of time together at the show looking at cards. And I saw this, and I had John take it out, let me look at it. And I didn't say, hey Don, what is this comp at? What is this? So look up the sold listings for this. What is it? How much are these on eBay right now? None of that. I said, Don, what do you think of this? He says, it actually reminds me of a Renaissance painting. I think that was the term, but Impressionist, one of the other. But very happy to add that to the collection, and I took the money out. I was going to give John the money. This sticker said it was this. And let's take the money out. And he says, how does $20 off the price? He quoted himself $20 off. He said, how's that sound? It said sound great. I wasn't going to ask for a discount, but that sounds great. And I paid him, and we left. And that's a concept that's foreign now, especially at this time, this stage of the hobby. So I paid him, we walked away, very happy. And Don says, if you didn't buy that, I was going to buy it. So that made me feel good as a collector to have that. It's always good when your friend says, oh, if you didn't buy that, I was going to buy it. That always feels nice. So we did some more walking around that day. I think this was the same day. And we ran into Mike, baseball collector, Silver Jackify, and then Yanks fan 7, Vince. And just talk and say hello, and then Mike he's like, Mike goes, I got the best pickup of the show. I'm not gonna beat this. It's the best. I made the best pickup of the show. So Okay, obviously we said, well, what is it? And he takes out a tag slab, and it's a custom card of his dog Norman. And it's like prismatic. It's like a cracked ice looking atomic refractor, depending on where you sit on that fence. I said, that's awesome. Obviously it was. And he says, yeah, they're making these over at Tag. And I'm like, oh wow, is that free? He said, no, it's not free. And it was $40. I was like, all right, cool, thanks, that's great. I'm gonna go head over there because I had something in mind, and it was I had them make this one of my Weasley, we just lost him in November. And this is a picture this is my screensaver on my phone. And yeah, I went over and said, hey, I want to make one of these, and sure, no problem. Picture was good enough and everything, and they said that the background could be, I think, one of 6 different colors, 7 different colors, random. That the AI, artificial intelligence, selects the color. You don't have any choice. So, very happy to add that to the collection. Just that means a lot to me. That's going to sit back here, and I get to look at it every day. Just well done. Just a great idea. And we joke around that Tag finally found their niche, making pet cards. But yeah, so that was Thursday. It was, because Thursday night we had the YouTube get together, and it was a smashing success, to the point where I don't think I knew 80% of the people there. There were a lot of people there. I'm sure, I saw Alex Bowman 53 had some video. So yeah, it's a lot of people there. But the awesome thing, well, one of many awesome things that came out of it was, and Garrett has talked about this on his channel, so it's not a secret at this point, but there was a time, right when the pandemic was starting up, we were all on lockdown, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything, a lot of free time, and I'm not sure who came up with the idea, now that I think about it, but somebody came up with the idea, why don't we all just jump on StreamYard and just shoot the shit and kill some time? We're not doing anything, so why not? All right, well, I can't go anywhere. So, we would get on StreamYard like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then just talk until someone passed out. Some of the guys passed out, or, I gotta go to bed, tired, blah, blah, blah. We were doing this 5, 6, 7 days a week. So a bunch of us, and there were 6 of us, and we got really close. So you could have 6 people. I think StreamYard has upped it now, but I think at the time the limit might have been 6. I'm not sure exactly, but we became really close friends. Just, you talk about cards initially, and then you start talking about life and all those other things. So, we decided we'd name ourselves the Inner Circle. And there were 6 of us, and at the YouTube get-together this year, a Thursday night, was the first time that not the first time we were together last year, but we didn't take a picture. We're like, oh crap, we didn't take a picture. We have to remedy that this year. So we did. And it was a great. Picture came out great. And then Friday morning, we're leaving. JT and I were roommates. We were leaving the hotel. And he said that Garrett is going to turn that picture we took into a tag card. Like I just showed, and that Moynihan had with Norman. And I said, he said Garrett's going to make one for himself. And I said, whoa, hold on. That's a great idea. I think everybody in the Inner Circle should get a copy. So, first thing when we got in, we went over to the tag booth and said, hey, I need 6 of these. And this is how it turned out. I took the green one, green being my favorite color, and those are all YouTubers you should recognize, and anyone who watches my channel certainly knows all of these guys. So I think it came out great. I mean, I think this is probably something we're gonna have to do next year as well. If Tag still offers it, we'll get a new type of photo and do something special. So I was really proud to have this made up for all the fellas in the group, and and a small other story with that is probably later in the day, that day, Mike went over to the tag booth and said, hey, showed them this picture, not the card, the picture we had. It says, I need 6 of these made up. And they said, you sure? And I think your friends already beat you to the punch. So he had the same thing in mind. Just a great photo. So many memories with all these fellas. It's just great to look at that and think, you know, something really positive came out of that whole situation. So that was Thursday, right? Yeah, I think this was Saturday night. I'm trying to get my days not mixed up, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think it was Thursday, because I spent the whole day, walking around, seeing friends, having a good time, but not seeing anything. Card-wise, not seeing anything. And it must have been about 4 o'clock, and Jay-Z said, hey, come meet me. He texted me, come meet me over wherever it was. So as I was walking over there, head on a swivel, looking back and forth. You never know what you're going to see. And lo and behold, I saw a 2018 Topps Black Pujols in a PSA slab. So when I got closer, so it was a PSA 10 slab. I was like, oh, yeah, too bad. I wish that was a 9. I actually said that to the guy. I wish that was a 9 or 8. But, the 10 tax was stupid. So it wasn't even a consideration to even try to negotiate anything. I can't ask the guy to give me 75% off, which is probably still pushing what it was worth. But that happens. But same table, a few showcases. Oh, I think actually it was one showcase over. He had a card in there that wasn't even on the radar. I've said to my friends privately, and I've probably stated publicly, I'll never own that card. It's autographed. It's expensive. It's costly. Fairly limited. I'm not going to bother with, ordering that graph. And I had seen one earlier in the day, actually, funny enough, that it turns out I saw another one in a PSA 9 that was very, very pricey. Says, yeah, no. And so I saw this one, and it was in a 7, PSA 7. Now, this is a modern card. And the sticker on it was reasonable for what it is. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. We can do a negotiation. We can, it's not too far apart like the Topps Black was. So, and I actually, because JT and I spent a lot of the show texting each other, look at this, check this out, blah, blah, blah. What's this worth? Is this too much type of thing? In fact, I had just texted him, please come over. I got the booth number. I said, please come to the booth, whatever it was. I don't remember what it was, but I said, please come to booth, blah, 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 now, if you can. So he did. And we looked at it and talked about the price a little bit. And, if I really wanted it. And I did. And here it is. I've shown it before. But here it is. It's the 2001 Bowman Chrome Albert Pujols. And they put refractor autograph on the flip, but it's not available non-refractor or non-autograph. So yeah, I this is the one I went into the show. They're hand numbered because that's how they did them initially, when they were still figuring out Bowman Chrome. And this is the one that's pretty much started it all. So this is inadvertently, I guess, that this is the reason that Bowman boxes are like $400, because you might get the next or the next Trout, I guess some people could say. But you know, this is actual. You want to get debated for the rookie card or not, but it's part of the set. That's a whole nother topic. I talk about that another time. But this is a card I did not think I'd ever own, and if it wasn't in a 7, I wouldn't own it. And I don't think it's gonna. We can try, but sorry to zoom in on his butt, but you can kind of see it right there. Like right, it's not showing up. There looks like a dimple right there. And again, I apologize for pointing to his butt, but you know, this is a big card. It is a big card, no doubt. So I'm very, very happy to have that. Was not planning on this happening, you know, at all. Obviously, it was not in the game plan. It was not on the agenda. It was not on the menu. It wasn't even a thought. But because I had moved all that stuff, like I mentioned, the chromium basketball, the chromium football, I no longer own that. You know, the Kobe, the LeBron, the Steph Curry, the Mahomes Prism, Optic Holo that I subbed last year. All of that was moved, and I'm fine with it. I mean, some of it was moved to get the Jackie done, like the Giannis Prism, the Durant Prism, Durant Chrome, sorry. All that was moved in an effort to stuff I've owned for a long time and enjoyed. Now someone else can own and enjoy, and I can zoom in on some bigger cards, I suppose. Stuff I wouldn't normally, stuff I wouldn't pay up for. You know, like these 3 cards. I might have paid up for the Jackie, but I certainly would not have paid up for the Pujols or the Mantle, as far as just straight out buying. It just wouldn't happen. But now I'm very proud to have those 3 in my collection, and it's, you know, some say that the Pujols, the 2001 Bowman Chrome Pujols auto, is one of the most, if not the most iconic card of this century. Some say that, you know, some say that the 2009 Trout Bowman Chrome insert. Some say Trout, you know, US 175 from the 11 update, but there's no denying what that Pujols means. So it means a lot to me that I have that in my collection. So before I finalized the deal with the seller, looking at some other stuff, he didn't really have much else. That, you know, we asked JT if he wanted to bundle something, but nothing worked out. But I did have him throw this in just because I wanted to feel like I won. And it's this Eric Davis 93 finest refractor, and you know, oof, I mean, this is just a great looking baseball card. I mean, this puts to shame anything Topps puts out now, but that's not a surprise to you or me. That's just a great looking card, not numbered or anything. It is 31 years old, which is a little scary to think about. So can't go wrong with the 93 finest refractor. So that was Thursday, right? Yeah. I don't think I got anything Friday. Again, I apologize for getting my days mixed up, but Saturday, I think it was Saturday, JT had sent me a text message. Hey, I found a 2018 Topps Heritage Otani Action Variation PSA 9. It's a good price. Are you interested? I said, yeah, well, where is it? So we went over and took a look at it and picked it up. I mean, this is I already have an SGC, well, a CSG green flip one that I bought last year. And for the price this was, gladly add another one. It's only so many of these to go around, and I think by definition this came out in March of 18 when it wasn't supposed to due to the logo, blah blah blah. And if you had dominoes on your scorecard, in your bingo card, there it is. Knew that was gonna happen. Can't be an Eric video without screwing everything up, right? But yeah, so went to the dealer, took a look at the Otani, added it to the collection. So that left Saturday night. The rest of the day, spends the rest of the day Saturday walking around and saying goodbye to folks, and people were leaving. Some people had already left. We don't like to think about that because it makes me sadder. I won't see those guys for a while, but it is what it is, right? So so Saturday night for the first time. Wednesday night we went to that Avalon trade night, counterculture show, and it was I had said that it reminded me of Chicago in 21, crowded, couldn't walk through the aisles, blah blah blah. And it turns out as we were leaving, the police were showing up thinking they were going to shut it down. This is Wednesday night, and sure enough, the Thursday they had a sign up that Don went Thursday by there, and the show was canceled, so didn't even get off the ground the next day. Oh, so that was Thursday. I went to the Topps Q&A. I left that out. It was okay. Didn't really learn anything. It was very cordial. Seemed to be less prizes, but more talking, if that makes sense. It didn't seem like they gave out as many prizes, but again, new ownership, 10x, all that stuff. Yeah, it was a Dominguez. We thought it would be the Ellie, the autograph would be the Ellie or Paul Skeens, and it turns out it was Jason Dominguez, the 2005 Topps flagship style. Nice and card. Don't have it handy, but I'm sure you can find one what it looks like if you really want to know. But so the National put on trade night Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So after Wednesday night's debacle, I was a little skittish about going. When Thursday didn't go, Friday didn't go. Saturday's like, all right, well, JT said, let's go to trade night. And I'm thinking, yeah, let's go to trade night because, a lot of friends have already left, so let's go see how it is. So we went, we had, it was a great time, actually. It was a lot better than I thought it would have been. I had been to a couple trade nights before, but nothing where I stayed any length of time. And this was the one I actually made my first trade night purchase ever. And it was this Pikachu X Van Gogh versus Van Gogh. And so I saw, you're walking around, you see tables of stuff on the floor. And, I had to pick this up. I didn't know what I had one of these when they came out and wanted to wait till 9 showed up. And I paid a couple dollars under what they go for. Wasn't a steal. It wasn't a ripoff. It was just something I actually hadn't seen any on the floor. Not again, not that I was looking for them, but that wound up being my first purchase. So I was doing, the walk around. It was actually the trade night floor. It was down in the basement of the IX, and it was very spacious. A lot of people set up with their cards laying around and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, well, and I did a loop really relatively fast, and JT is very thorough because it's what he does. And he found a bunch of stuff, and right before we're about to leave, we're at one table, and I walk up. He's looking through some stuff. He's like, I think it has something you would be interested in. And so I walk up to the table because it was at a seating table, and JT shows me this 2008 Topps Gold. These are numbered to 2008 on the back. And I don't have this one, so I was like, all right, well, he had $15 on it. It's not unreasonable. He goes, so the young man, wasn't a kid, but young man looks up and he looks up at me and he says, are you those back pages? I said, yes, I am. And he says, I watch both your guys' channels, me and JT. I was like, man, that's cool. And I always, for years now, people have been saying that to me, and it makes me feel really good because I don't do this for famous. I don't do this for, I always like to say there's basically two types of YouTubers. There's more, obviously, but there are YouTubers that make YouTube videos for clout and clicks, and then there are YouTubers that make videos for sharing knowledge and sharing cards. And I've always looked at myself in the last category. So something I take pride in. I enjoy sharing my knowledge and not teaching, I guess, but I don't look at it that way. We give away the sauce for free here. There's no need to pay. But so it made me feel good that somebody would recognize me. Shout out to Ethan. I actually remember what his name was. Amazingly enough, because it was the first kid I ever had a fight with when I was young. But that's not important. But he also had this 2022 Topps Black Posey. These are numbered out as 71. His last card that JT pointed out to me later on, and I didn't even realize it, but he had 60 on it, which isn't terrible. And so I said, well, what do you need on both? He looks at him. He says, how's 50 sound? Hey, can't really beat that. I mean, that's pretty good for both cards, right? 33% off, and then it just felt really good to add to the pile. And I said to him that now I've started my 2025 CGC grading submission pile with these two cards. At the very least, it will be definitely the Posey's getting graded. I'm sure both will, but we'll see. We'll see what the submission numbers. Like obviously, some guys got cut. Some cards got cut this year, but I almost did it again. Nice. But yeah, this Posey is gonna get slabbed no matter what. I mean, it makes the cut. Obviously, it's his final. I guess it's like I've started that with I showed the Jeter is his last Topps card, last flagship card. Posey's last flagship card in that order that I submitted at this show had a Pujols last flagship card and had a Cabrera last flagship black. So that's kind of like a little side niche project that I started doing, I guess. It's a lot easier and affordable than the first blacks, which started in Topps Blacks, which started in 2003. But yeah, to find 2010 Posey Topps Black would be quite costly if you can even find one. Again, I've talked about that at length, and that's a story for another day. But so that ended Saturday night. That was a great way to end Saturday night. Back to the room, get ready to pack. Got to check out the next Sunday morning, and get up Sunday morning, drive over to the show. Doing the rounds. I guess we like to say doing the rounds and saying goodbye to people you won't see for a year. I'm not very good with that. I'll be honest. I think I've said that before. I'm not good with that emotionally. I get upset, and it's difficult to say goodbye to my friends. So anyway, so doing the rounds, I was like, and I had said to JT, as the night before, is like, I want to see Jeter John has any numbered Bobby Witt non-tens left. So he didn't. When I saw him in the morning, he didn't. But I went and bought a card from him that I swore I would never own, and here we are. I own one. It is the 2022 Topps Chrome Platinum Bobby Witt Jr. refractor. It's not numbered. It's not scarce at all. I paid average. So what do you want for it? He said, gave me a number. I just gave him the money. It wasn't cause. Series 1 blaster, essentially. And, there's the alien technology AI. Witt's not as horrible looking as some of the others, but this is not a good job, Topps. Just did not do the 53 set justice in chromium form. It is what it is. I like the 23s that look like 54s with Gunner in it. I like those, but man, these are just like I said, it is what it is, right? So probably try to pick up, like, I think there's 2 different atomic colors, blue and red, I think. Again, there's like 5,000 different parallels. Anyway, so that was in the morning. Then probably around noonish or so, Don said he's got to head out. JT was going to head out, and some other friends were heading out, and I was heading out, I guess, eventually, and doing one final lap, saying, final goodbyes to people. See you next year. Have fun and all that stuff. And I found another table that I had seen once or twice during the week, but didn't really look closely, and I'm like, it was actually one of the tables right by the door, as it turns out. So he had a couple cards that I was interested in, so he made me an offer I didn't want to pass on. Not that I could not a Godfather offer, but this 1999 Topps Chrome Griffey insert refractor, Lords of the Diamond. Just a great looking card. They don't make them like that anymore. So I added that to the collection, and then this 2001 Donruss Elite Aspirations Jeter, which is numbered here to 98. And I don't know if you picked that up, but die cut numbered to 98. It is in a BGS holder. It is what it is, but 2001, the Pujols Etro year, card numbered to 98, under 100. I think that's probably be my sweet spot, trying to make that my sweet spot going forward. And then on the way out, I ran into George. Like, literally, as I was hitting the door, George was walking in, Diamond Yard Sports Cards. So we had a nice conversation, and I headed out and got in the car. Actually enjoyed some Five Guys and fries, burgers with lettuce wrap, but trying to make. They don't really have those around here where I am, but it was tasty. But it's not really relevant. But so wrapping it up, first let me say something that when I decided I was going to move on from the chromium stuff, that meant that I had a bunch of Topps football and Peyton, Rogers, etc. I have with Luka and Mahomes, especially Luka and Mahomes, I have raw Donruss, raw score. I kept the hoops Luka PSA 9. I held on to that. It just wasn't worth selling for what it was going for. So I'm not totally out of the NBA NFL game, but I'm trying to stick to, for football, score, because it's old school, score and Donruss. Just trying to make it one, but couldn't really decide between score and Donruss, because score is college uniforms. Donruss has the Rated Rookie logo, so I guess figured I'll just both of those, why not? And then for basketball, hoops, old school, back to 89, and Donruss pretty much for the same reason as football has the rated rookie version, and there's no paper version of Prism. So since I had the hoops Luca that I held on to, I went to the binder and I took out a couple of raw cards. I took out a raw Donruss Luca. I just submitted that myself, and it came back a 9.5. I bought this probably in a lot with like a 10 card lot with other Lucas. It was just in there, maybe $2 at the time. And same thing so that'll go with the hoops that I have. And then for Patty, since I didn't have Donruss or Score, but I had raw copies in the binder in the Z Folio, so I just submitted it, and I got 9.5 on this. It's a good grade. I mean, it's a tough grade with the blue corners. So happy to have that now as a Mahomes representative of my collection. And then the Score surprised the heck out of me because it was just in a Z Folio, and that came back a pristine, believe it or not. That came back pristine. So he's in the college gear, but it is a pristine. So happy to have that in the collection. So that, again, I apologize. Sorry, not sorry, the length of the video, because this is important to me. This national stuff is important to me, and it sounds silly to some people, but they just don't get it, and it means a lot to me. So I want to thank you for spending your time to watch this, listen to this if you're in the car. Really, really appreciate it, and I hope to see you all soon.